Welcome everybody to our water cooler conversation. Topic today is what's next for victims and survivors. My name is Priscilla. I am with the Office for Advocacy and Violence Prevention. Joining me today, of course, my partner in crime, Amanda Quintanilla from the PD, UTRGV PD. Sorry, technical difficulties now. There. Before we begin, I just want to give a quick disclaimer, trigger warning. The content of the discussion could be troubling, especially to survivors of violence, victimization, or harassment. Please feel free to leave if the discussion triggers an upsetting response. Please treat this session as a safe space and respect the boundaries of others, especially if their views or experiences are clearly troubling to them. And of course, just to get a little bit more understanding about what we're trying to accomplish today, we want to hope to gain an understanding of what services and programs are offered, to recognize, of course, who can utilize all these services, and then, of course, to identify those campus and community resources that people can use. Joining us today is Rita Camacho, the Sexual Assault Program Coordinator from the Family Crisis Center. Welcome, Rita. Thank you for joining us. If you want to give a little bit about yourself.
Hi, well, my name is Rita Camacho. Thank you, Priscilla and Amanda, for having me here today. And I'm honored to be invited.
Well, thank you for joining us today. And now I will be turning it over to Amanda to start off our session for today.
Awesome, thank you. Thanks, Priscilla. Rita, again, thank you so much for taking time out of your day. April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month, so we're going to kick it off today with Rita Camacho. We're going to jump right in. What is the Family Crisis Center and where are you all located?
Thank you, Amanda. Well, the Family Crisis Center, our center provides services to victims, survivors of domestic violence and sexual assault. It also provides extensive educational and violence prevention programs in Cameron and Willacy counties. We have 2 offices. One is located in Harlingen. The address is 616 West Taylor. And our second office is located at 192 North 3rd Street in Raymondville.
What about your office hours, Rita?
The office hours here in Harlingen are Monday through Thursday from 8 a.m. to 5:30. Fridays, we work from 8:30 to 3:30 p.m. At Raymondville office, they're open Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Okay, awesome. So 2 locations. Now we're still having to take precautions because of COVID-19. Are you all taking any there at your all's locations?
Yes, due to the pandemic, we're still taking precautions and safety measures. We're social distancing during in-office sessions, and anyone that is hesitant to come into the office, telehealth or phone is provided.
Great. So in person or Zoom or telehealth. Okay,
yes.
That's good. Okay. What about your programs? Tell us about the kind of programs that the Family Crisis Center has for the community.
Yes, of course. The programs that we have is the Sexual Assault Program. We are dedicated to helping victims of sexual assault through crisis prevention, safety planning, resources, and referrals. We do have support groups, and we do participate with the Boys and Girls Club. We are part of the anti-human trafficking, and we just recently, back in December, we joined the sexual assault response team, and we're actually leading that.
Awesome. In which county?
In Willacy County.
In Willacy County. Okay. So you have your group sessions, your individual sessions, your support groups, and then you also have a lot of involvement in the community. That's awesome. And in Willacy and in Cameron? For the most part?
We just started it in Willacy. We're still pending in Cameron.
Okay. Okay, great. Now tell us a little bit about the shelter and how that works.
Okay.
Like any kind of rules.
Oh, yes, of course. So our emergency shelter is available to family violence victims fleeing or attempting to flee domestic violence, and for sexual assault victims that no longer feel safe in their home or place where they live. There are several ways that people can come into the shelter. They come into the office seeking services. Second, they call the hotline, which is available 24/7. And third, they even have a law enforcement or hospital reach out for services on their behalf. In any of these three scenarios, an advocate would talk to the victim to screen them for services. If their victimization consists of fleeing or attempting to flee domestic violence and or being a recent victim of sexual assault, they will be given instructions on how to get to the shelter based on what is the safest for them. And yeah, so while they're there at the shelter, they'll receive all the basic needs like food, clothing, and hygiene items.
Okay, so requirements would be, it's a sort of DV situation, correct?
DV and SA.
NSA, okay. Now, in reference to the shelter, does this also include men and someone who identifies as trans? Or is that going to be a different kind of a system or protocol?
No, here at the Family Crisis Center, we do not discriminate on the basics of race, color, national origin, sexual orientation, religion, sex, disability, and age. So everyone's welcome as long as, you know, if you fall in the category of domestic violence or sexual assault, you're in, we're gonna help you.
Okay. And then you'll figure out the situation having to do with men on one side or if they're children or anything like that, just to be sure people understand, because some people would probably be a little weary, just in case.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So I know you mentioned the hours that you all have in your offices, but what about if there's a situation, a domestic violence situation or a sexual assault after hours? Are you all still going to be able to assist the community?
I'm glad that you asked that because we do have a 24-hour hotline, which
Yes,
is
you said that.
available to any current or past victim of domestic or sexual violence or abuse. We do have on-call advocates that respond to hospital calls. And just to let you know that our services are free and confidential.
That's really important. Thank you for putting that out there, free and confidential, so that everybody is aware. Now, remember, I had mentioned at the beginning that it's Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and one of the major words around sexual assault is consent. So tell us what consent is so that we can all be on the same page.
Yes. So what is consent, right? So consent happens when all people involved in any kind of sexual activity agree to take part by making a conscious and informed choice. They also need to have the freedom and capacity to make that choice. Because of this, there is no time when a minor can lawfully give consent to engage in a sexual act.
Okay, thank you. Now, I want to ask about, what does sexual assault consist of? I know that it's gonna be getting a little deeper, but it's really important that you state it for us.
Yes. Sexual assault consists of attempted rape, fondling, or unwanted sexual touching, forcing someone to perform sexual acts, or even penetration of the victim's body.
Just want to remind everybody that we're discussing really important and very sensitive topics. So if you need to stop listening, please do so. But also remember that there is help in the community and on campus for you. Rita, you and I had a conversation a while back about the confusion some people have when it comes to sexual assaults occurring. As a sexual assault advocate working these cases, what should a person do first if that happens to them? That's to say, of course, if they're able to and if they're willing to.
Yes, of course, seek safety and support. Whether you're heading to the hospital or the police station or a close friends or family's member's home, go to a safe place that helps you feel secure and where you can receive the emotional support you need. If at any point they feel like they don't have that in their lives, I would like for everyone to know that the Family Crisis Center can help provide that safe and support.
That's really important. Thank you for saying that, because not everybody does have support. So it's important that they're aware that the community is able to assist. Now, you mentioned police. So I want to ask you about police reports. When is that done? Is there a time limit to report a sexual assault? And what if a person doesn't want to file a report with the police? What happens then?
That's a good question. When the survivor is ready to file a police report, as advocates, we can assist with peer support to accompany them to the police station. The survivors, they don't have to file a police report to receive services with the Family Crisis Center. And in regards to the time limit to report the sexual assault, there is the statute limitations, but to report, that'll be case by case.
Okay. That's always important to note, case by case. Now, in our line of work and working with victims and survivors, it's really difficult to help people understand why a survivor doesn't report. What do you think are some misconceptions regarding sexual assault and why people don't report to the authorities?
In general, there are many times that we believe that if someone harms us in any way, we would do the so-called logical thing and report it to the authorities. For example, like when someone crashes into our vehicle, we call the cops and make a report. When it comes to crimes as invasive as any crime that falls under the sexual assault umbrella, reactions are often much different. Survivors fear they will be judged and not obtain justice because of the very commonly perpetrated idea that they must have done something to cause for it to happen. Sexual crimes are about control. Because of this, the survivor can be left feeling powerless. When it comes to children, their abusers often threaten physical harm to family members if they speak up, or threats of the abuser doing to their siblings that they are doing to them.
That's true. Would you say that it's common for a person who has gone through a sexual assault or any kind of assault to remember the facts about the case days after the trauma has occurred?
As a trauma-informed agency, we understand that the client's memory of the events may be fragmented in a non-chronological order and based on the perception of the event. It is common. We encourage our clients to keep a journal and add whenever they remember from their trauma.
That's important, the journaling. Now, there's a lot of uneasiness regarding if a person is undocumented. Can they still report the crime to law enforcement?
If the person is undocumented, they are encouraged to report the crime if they're willing to, of course.
Right.
Oftentimes, clients will be afraid of speaking out because the perpetrator will tell them that since they are undocumented, that the police is going to arrest them. As advocates, we're able to advocate for them and provide them with their victims' rights to help put them at ease.
Wonderful. That's good. Again, I just want to reiterate that we are discussing very sensitive topics. So if at any point you have to leave the discussion, please do. And just remember that there is assistance out there for you, whether it's on campus or off campus. You mentioned a little bit ago about accompaniment, just in case people are unaware of what that is. Can you give an example and tell us what that is?
Yes. So survivors of family and sexual violence are often left to navigate the complex of the emotional, legal, medical, and financial waters alone. We, the advocates, serve as an indispensable resource and an agent of hope when we accompany victims to forensic exams, police stations, and court or social service hearings. Advocacy and other supportive services provide empowerment through information, validation, and encouragement to enable survivors to find the strength inside themselves to reclaim a sense of control while maintaining their dignity.
Okay, so you can accompany them, whether it's to the hospital or to police station, right?
Yes.
Okay. And again, just depending on their protocols because of pandemic and safety procedures, just in case, right?
Yes.
Okay. So the crisis center, does every crisis center have similar protocols, or are they different in different policies? Do you know?
While most crisis centers provide the same services, we all have different protocols and policies on the way services are provided.
Okay. And then again, just remember, we have the Family Crisis Center in Harlingen, Friendship of Women in Brownsville, and Mujeres Unidas in Hidalgo County in McAllen. And we will get to the resources towards the end of the conversation. You mentioned a while back about a safety plan in case people are unaware what that is, we have done a water cooler on them way, way back when. Just tell us a little bit about a safety plan, please.
Yes. So every client gets a safety plan to prepare for any situation that may arise, to take action. It prepares them to do the next thing, like on what to do.
Okay, going over safety and so forth. Great.
Yes.
So Rita, let's say that an individual is at a party or a get together, or honestly, pretty much anywhere, and someone is being sexually assaulted. What can a bystander do in this situation?
First and foremost, assess for safety, right? If you see
Right.
someone in trouble, ask yourself if you can help safely in any way. Remember, your personal safety is priority. Never put yourself at risk. Be in a group. It's safer to call out behavior or intervene in a group if this is not an option. Report it to others who can act. Care for the victim. Talk to the person who you think may need help. Ask them if they're okay.
Okay, good, because it's so important for us to also talk about that. What about protective orders or divorces? Does the Family Crisis Center assist people with those?
Yes, we do
Okay.
have a legal advocate in-house who guides on how to obtain a protective order. And we do assist with referrals to Texas Rio Grande Legal Aid for
Mhm.
most legal services, for example, divorce.
Okay. Awesome. So you're able to assist with that. Trauma does not only affect the victim, but it affects the family, it affects friends, future relationships, just relationships in general, due to the secondary victimization. What are your thoughts on that and how they can also get assistance or get involved, or how they can get help?
My thoughts are that the family is equally affected as a victim. We offer counseling, peer support group, the same services as a victim in efforts to not only assist the victim, but the family as well.
Awesome. That is great. Now, I know you all have a thrift store, so tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, our thrift store, it's called Repeat Performance. They're located at 124 West Jackson here in Harlingen. And our thrift store, it benefits the Family Crisis Center to provide lifelong services to our clients.
Awesome. Those are some really great, that's great that you all have a thrift store. You're able to do that for the community. Priscilla, you're going to say something?
Oh, no, I was just
No?
gonna
Okay.
mention that, of course, Family Crisis Center is very important to Cameron and Willacy County. I mean, go out, visit them. Of course, I've put up their information here. I don't know if you have anything else you want to mention, Amanda.
No, I just wanted to ask you, Rita, if there's anything else that you wanted to add before we come to a close.
No, just thank you, Amanda and Priscilla, for having me here today at the water cooler. What I would like for everyone to know is you are not alone. There is help available to you, and you would get through this.
Thank you so much, Rita. Thank you for the work that you do in our communities. We're going to go to the next slide here. That's our information. That's the information for the Family Crisis Center. And here we have the campus resources. Of course, we have our OVAP office, our Title IX, student health services, our UPD, the counseling center, and the Vaquero crisis line. And then the community resources, which are the Friendship of Women, I had mentioned in Brownsville, Mujeres Unidas, the Cameron County District Attorney's Office, the Domestic Violence Unit, the Juan Hidalgo County, the National Domestic Violence Hotline, the National Sexual Assault Hotline, and the Stalking Prevention Awareness and Resource Center. These are resources that are available to our community. We work with all of them, so we are just grateful that that they're here to help our communities. And then that brings us to the end of our water cooler. Y'all, please remember that April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month and Child Abuse Prevention Month. So be sure to follow OVAP and the PD on social media, Facebook, Twitter. OVAP also has Instagram so that you can learn about upcoming events on campus. and learn about the awareness that we participate in the community. So again, thank you so much for joining us today, Rita. We're very grateful for the services that you provide to the community and for everybody taking the time out today to join us on this Wednesday. So you all take care and please be safe.
You too. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.